Today we are diving in again to some eye health, talking about natural remedies and the best things you can do for your eyes, and this is going to extend beyond just balancing your hormones.
Introducing the Paramena Bliss Podcast, a show dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of achieving optimal health naturally as you transition into perimenopause and menopause. Get ready to join your host, Dr. Seth Yates, an experienced naturopathic doctor, acupuncturist, and kinesiologist, as he shares his wealth of knowledge acquired from over 40,000 patient visits and 15 years in working with perimenopausal females. Welcome to the Paramena Bliss Podcast.
Hey, this is Doc Yates, and welcome to Perimeno Bliss, brought to you by perimenobliss.com. Thanks for joining me on the drive to work today. And today I want to discuss what are some other things that you can do to greatly improve the health of your eyes. So on the last podcast, we talked about the use of hormone balance and the role that will play for the eyes in terms of your retina, your macula, your optic nerve, the vitreous fluid within your eye, all of those things. But one of the really important things we want to dive into is the importance of three things for the eye. So we're going to simplify it right off the start. Three things for the eye, which is antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and blood supply. Your eye needs some of the needs some of the highest amount of antioxidants and blood supply based on how small the organ is. Okay, they're very small organs, but they have an enormous amount of blood supply and antioxidant demands for this. So you want to make sure that you're getting that. So not only do you want to make sure that you're getting these natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatories, you want to make sure that they're natural because you don't want to get all the side effects associated with anti-inflammatory medications. You also, there's no point doing the work and taking the extra anti-inflammatories and taking these things if you're going to be consuming things in your diet that have a massive oxidative effect. Think of oxidation as like rust in your body, and think of a lot of these conditions in your eyes almost as a thickening, hardening, a rusting effect. That's a good way to kind of simplify it. So the big things, we're going to start with a couple don'ts. Don't consume diets that are really high in processed sugar and processed white flours and grains. Okay, this is going to be completely counter to everything you're trying to accomplish. So we want to really focus on reducing your sugar intake. This means if you're a pop drinker, if you're consuming even diet pops with all the chemicals in it, if you're a smoker, if you're just living off of processed food, of anything that we're going to do, before we even get into the remedies, I would say start making those changes first. Start reducing that and switching to whole foods. Then we can dive into this. If you're smoking, start reducing how much you're smoking and eventually lead to quitting. Anything that you can do that's going to reduce this oxidative damage, not just to your eyes, but at this point we're talking about to your entire body. And because a lot of the damage from those activities affects your blood vessels, that's why you see it affect the eyes so much, because the eyes, again, have this high demand for blood supply. And if you're doing something that's affecting the blood vessels, which is reducing the blood supply, you can see how this is going to lead to damage in all tissues. So, let's talk about some natural anti-inflammatories and extremely high antioxidant herbs. Now, the good thing is that we have all of these herbs combined into one formula. And why am I going to be discussing herbs and not just things like individualized extracts? Like, why not vitamin E, vitamin C, these individual ones? The reason is that I prefer plants over individualized vitamins is because a lot of the individualized vitamins have been so processed in the way that they're made that they don't even come close to touching the overall benefits of health from a plant extract. And the reason that is because plants have vitamin E, they can have vitamin C, they can have all of these other flavonoids and anti-inflammatories built into them in their natural form. They're not synthetically made in a lab. Unfortunately, a lot of those vitamins and minerals are good for you. It's still better to get things from natural plant extracts because that's as close to natural as you're going to find. So, let's discuss some herbs that you can start using. And again, if you wanted to get all of these, they are combined into our Revive Effects formula. So, turmeric, a really good anti-inflammatory. I would say a couple good points about turmeric is that it's not greatly absorbed by the body. So if you're taking just small amounts of turmeric in food, it will give you some effect, but you need to do higher doses. Like a lot of times you see turmeric supplements and it's like 50 milligrams of turmeric. That's not a dose. That's like a sprinkling on for color on your rice. A turmeric dose, we need it to be over 1 gram, and we use like a stronger extract, so it's close to 4 grams. So just to put that in perspective, we're not talking about 50 or 200 milligrams, we're talking about 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams of turmeric. If you're taking turmeric on your own, if you do add a little bit of black pepper to it, that can improve the absorption of it. A lot of companies will sell like these lipophilic extracts. This is a form of turmeric that's better absorbed, but it's so much more expensive. So you can just use regular turmeric if you want to, but you have to use larger amounts and combine it with a little bit of black pepper. Ginger, another really powerful anti-inflammatory that also improves your circulation. That's easy to find and has a ton of other benefits besides your eyes. It's good for your immune system, good for your circulation, anti-inflammatory for joints and everything as well. It should be incorporated into it. And a lot of times people will take turmeric and ginger, put those powders together with a little bit of black pepper, and then mix that in water. That's a very easy way to do it on your own from home. Now we're going to talk about some berry extracts. Bilberry. Bilberry, if you look at any old herbal textbook, bilberry was the #1 thing for eye health in any type of European Western herbalism because it's so high in antioxidants. So think of it as like a cousin of blueberry, just stronger. And a lot of these other berries that we're going to discuss real quick. So you got blueberry. In Ayurvedic medicine, they use amla berry. And another thing that they use also like a triphala. This is a mix of 3 berries they'll use in Ayurvedic medicine. And then European medicine will also use elderberry, which is also way higher of an antioxidant than blueberry, with a lot of other health benefits like antiviral, immune boosting. You will see a lot of these strong kind of, we'll call them like superfood berries used in any of the old textbooks and old systems of medicine when it comes to eye health. And it makes sense because they're so high in flavonoids and antioxidants. So getting those as part of it. Schisandra berry, that would be one from Chinese medicine. They also use one called dragon fruit berry. These are all extremely high. So I would say if you're doing it from a food standpoint, the more dark berries that you can get into your diet, the better. Now keep in mind, as you're increasing the levels of dark berries that you're getting in, you are increasing your sugar content a bit. But that's not going to be a big deal because you're pulling back on all of the other refined sugars. So if your sugars are coming just from fruit and we're not getting all those extra sugars, then we don't have to worry so much about your blood sugar level, because the amount you're getting from these berries versus the amount that you're getting from a can of pop, it's not even comparable. So cut out the crap sugar, put in that more healthy sugars from fruit, because the fruit also has the antioxidants. There's a plant called Fo tea, also known as He Shu Wu. Maybe you've never heard of that one. But what you have heard of probably is something called resveratrol. Resveratrol is always talked about when it comes to wine. But most of the extracts that you're going to get in supplements of resveratrol are from this plant, this He Shu Wu and this Fo tea. It's an extremely high antioxidant and has very good effects for the eyes. From a food standpoint, and from a supplement, you're going to see a lot of things talk about lutein. Lutein is something that you'll see a lot in things like tomatoes, carrots, orange and red vegetables. This is something else that we wouldn't even bother putting that in a supplement, because that's something you can get from regular foods. Anything you can get from regular foods should not go into a supplement. Just like supplements that contain like broccoli. Here's 200 milligrams of broccoli. It's like, just eat some broccoli. Focus the supplements on the herbs that are harder to find, harder to source, and that have even more effect. So, what does this have to do, and what will this do for your eyes? Let me list off 5 common eye disorders that are linked with high levels of oxidation or inflammation. Number 1, age-related macular degeneration. This is a major cause of vision loss. Okay, so age-related macular degeneration. The more antioxidants, the more natural anti-inflammatories, the more you can do to improve your circulation, the more you can work to prevent this. A lot of dry eye syndromes are related with inflammation of the eye, and by taking these natural anti-inflammatories, you can see that improve as well. Cataracts. Think of cataracts as like rust. As a way to simplify it, think of it as like rust forming within the eye. Okay? Rust forming within the fluid of the eye. Improving the circulation, reducing the inflammation, improving antioxidant status can help with the prevention of cataracts. Any eye disease that have problems with circulation affecting the eye, keep in mind too, a lot of this will apply to diabetes, and this ties back to diabetes is one of the major causes for eye issues, because eye issues and vision loss, for the reason being is that high levels of sugar think of it as causing this oxidation and rusting out and glycolation. Okay, so as I just mentioned before, pull out all the processed sugars, pull out all the white flours, and have your sugar come from these healthier, more antioxidant-rich foods instead. And then a lot of inflammatory conditions of the eye, kind of goes without saying, I guess, doesn't it? It's going to be reduced with better antioxidants and more natural anti-inflammatory. So those eye conditions, eye inflammation, problems with circulation, cataracts, dry eyes, and age-related macular degeneration are all linked with high levels of oxidation. And with these remedies that we discussed right now, you can work to prevent that. So in that case, start sourcing these remedies. If you need to find any of them, you feel free to contact us. I hope this was helpful. This is Doc Yates signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to the Paramena Bliss podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and visit paramenobliss.com for more valuable information on how you can thrive during your transition through perimenopause. Join our community of like-minded women who are dedicated to achieving optimal health naturally, and stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and advice from Dr. Seth Yates. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Paramena Bliss podcast.